So, on top of all these calls for Joe Biden to step aside, something the Democrats aren't thinking about, Joe Biden has a war chest of something like $220 million. At least that's what he said it like 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, when he gave his press conference at the NATO summit. 200 and some million. Well, there are rules as to how that money can be transferred. He can't just transfer it to anybody else. He can't just transfer it into his bank account. There are rules as to who it can be transferred to, how much at a time, how much in a year, etc. And I don't know what all of those are. Those are, campaign finance law is extensive as to how much people can give, etc. So do the Democrats really want to, on top of risking changing Joe Biden, 100 days pre-election, and risking trying to ramp up somebody really quick and get public support behind whoever it is, do they want to not only risk that and risk screwing that up, but do they want to give up Joe Biden's war chest of $220 million for ads, etc., not to mention all of the ground support that he already has in place, all of the field offices, all of the volunteers, all of the flyers printed, all of it that is already set up? We stick with Joe because these Democrats that are calling for it aren't seeing the big picture. It's not because we think Joe Biden is the best candidate or because he absolutely can't lose. It's because at this point in the game, there is too much already set in motion to make that risk. This would be like saying you're running the Kentucky Derby with like 10% left to go, and you're going to try to somehow switch jockeys on while the horse is in motion. I know it's a bad analogy, but it doesn't make any sense that you would move Joe Biden at this point because too much is in play, too much is in motion, and it'd be too hard to move all of this around now. If they were going to do this, this should have been done a year ago, a year and a half ago, so we could have primaried somebody, whether it was Kamala and her vice presidential pick or whoever, and done this. Not, with 100 days roughly to go to the election. The Democrats are just risking it all because they are playing into this media hype, and the media is hyping it for ratings and to keep it an even matchup. The Democrats aren't seeing the big picture, the ones that are calling for Joe to step down. Joe sees it, Joe knows. Let's just stop the nonsense and get this done.